Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I'm Jeffrey Cooperstein. What a deflating loss against the Charlotte Hornets. Daniel Gafford had the best game of his career, and it was all ruined because the Mavs couldn't close down the stretch, and they could not finish. But we do need to get into the reports surrounding Daniel Gafford that the Mavericks are apparently dangling him as a potential trade chip ahead of the NBA trade deadline, which is on February 6th. And my response is simple. This cannot happen. The Mavericks cannot trade Daniel Gafford here ahead of the deadline, and there's a couple of reasons why for that. Number one, the Mavs have been searching for this for a long time, and they finally got the center duo that they wanted, and now they're going to get rid of it here just a calendar year after they acquired it? I don't think that's happening. When you look at what the center duo is doing this year, averaging over 20 points a game, averaging about 13 boards, great efficiency from the field, both of them averaging a block and a half or more, playing about 20 to 23 minutes a night. And I just feel like it's simple to me. Gafford has to stay. He's got to be a key part of this Mavericks team going forward. And whether the Mavericks make a deep run or not remains to be seen. But I think their chances go down significantly of making a deep run to the NBA Finals for the second straight season if Gafford is not on the team. Gafford significantly helps them. We've been looking for this 1-2 combo at center since 2011 when you had Tyson Chandler and Brandon Haywood alongside Jan Mahimi, who was the third guy. You acquired Gafford last year because you needed the center help. You gave up a first-round pick for him, and now all of a sudden, there's rumors out there that the Mavericks are dangling him as a potential trade chip. I just don't buy it, man. I don't think Nico Harrison would give up on Gafford this quick, and I think the Mavs are going to stick with Gafford for the foreseeable future. I simply don't see it unless they find like a borderline all-star player that they could trade for that would make them significantly better. Here's what his contract looks like over the next 2 seasons. He's at $13.4 million this year and $14.3 million next year. And that's another thing. He's super affordable. And the Mavericks, who are a team that is in the first apron of the luxury tax, they need all the help they can get and all the flexibility they can get. If I'm the GM of this team, I'm not even entertaining a Daniel Gafford trade until the offseason. And even then, I'm going to be hesitant and be very picky about what I would be getting back in a potential return. I think Daniel Gafford's value to the Mavericks is significantly more than it is to another team, just given the style of play that the Mavericks want to use, the rotations that the Mavs want to use, and how this team functions with both Gafford and Lively as a center unit. I simply don't see a reason to trade Daniel Gafford right now, and I don't think it's going to happen either. But I'll let you guys be the GM down in the comments. Do you want to trade Daniel Gafford? Would you trade him? Type T for trade or type K for keep down in the comment section. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. In just a couple seconds, I'm going to be telling you guys about our sponsor, which of course is PrizePicks. While I'm doing that, go on down there and get your votes in whether or not Daniel Gafford should be traded. We couldn't do today's show if it wasn't for our sponsor, which of course is PrizePicks, the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. The big game is almost here, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with PrizePicks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. PrizePicks is also giving away a free pick for the big game, where one of the starting quarterbacks will only need to throw 1 yard to win. If you're correct on at least one more stat projection, you can win real cash. Check out the promos tab to tail any of our Super Sweat Millie winners in big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means even if your picks doesn't hit, you can still cash out and you can double your money. I did have a projection for today's game between the Dallas Mavericks and the Charlotte Hornets, and Kyrie Irving more than 30.5 points and assists, that one hit. Daniel Gafford more than 8 rebounds, that one hit. LaMelo Ball 43.5 points, rebounds, and assists. LaMelo Ball had 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. We made some money on PrizePicks here today, so you can copy my picks or you can make picks of your own. Just make sure you do it with our friends over at PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code CLNS to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. It is PrizePicks run your game. That link will be clickable in the comments and the description of today's show. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this episode of Mavericks Today. Is Javonte Green a potential trade target for the Mavericks? According to reports, he is one of the names that the Mavericks are reportedly interested in ahead of the deadline here in a couple of weeks. And I think this one's sort of intriguing. Javonte Green is a player he's a wing, but he's a smaller wing. Here's what he's done in the last 4 years. The last 3 seasons of his career have all been with the Chicago Bulls. This year he's been with the New Orleans Pelicans. Played just 9 games last year for the Bulls, but that was his best statistical season if you extrapolate that. 12 points, 7 boards, 60% from the field, and 37% from 3. Those are pretty damn good numbers. This year in 37 games for New Orleans, averaging 6 points, 3.5 boards, and good efficiency from the field as well. So Javonte Green, potential Mavs trade target. We'll talk about more about Javonte Green here in just a couple of seconds, but I do need to tell you guys to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We have year-round Mavs coverage, the latest Mavericks news, rumors, and analysis leading up to the trade deadline. We also do free agency and draft coverage, so our coverage does not stop after the season ends. We have live watch parties like the one we did earlier today, and we just hit 31,000 subscribers. So thank you to all of the MFFL real ones that have joined the channel today. It's youtube.com/MavsTV. Join the movement right now, and let's go Mavs, baby. It's going to be a big 3 weeks leading up to this deadline, so let's see what happens. All right, back to Javonte Green. He's 6'4", 205. And if I'm Nico Harrison and I'm the Mavs, I think I'm looking for someone with a little more size than what Javonte Green offers. Now, if Green was 6'7", I'd be much more interested in him. But he's a 2-guard playing the 2 and the 3, and I think the Mavs need a wing that plays the 3 and the 4, not the 2 and the 3, if that makes sense. I'd really like someone with more size. Obviously, Herb Jones would have been a great addition to this team, but he has a torn labrum and is out indefinitely, so I don't see that one happening. Are there other potential options on the trade block that the Mavs could go for? Yes, there are. Are there other guys that you'd be worth trading Daniel Gafford for? I don't think so. Like, for instance, I would not trade Daniel Gafford for Javonte Green whatsoever. I think that would be a non-starter. But the Mavs do need to do something, especially if you saw the game against the Hornets. They just didn't have enough ammo to finish that game. I know you were without Luka and Lively, but you should be able to beat the Hornets on the road with that team you had. But maybe they need another addition. So let me know down in the comments who you think the Mavericks should trade for. Do you think it should be a big? Should it be a guard? Should it be a wing? Curious to hear what you guys think down below. Before we get on out of here, I do want to give you guys an update on the injury report. And the list is long. Luka Doncic still dealing with that calf strain. We have no real update on him yet. Expected to be reevaluated at the end of January, beginning of February. Kyrie Irving has the bulging disc in his back. He is playing through it. He played really well against the Hornets today. One of 2 players alongside Daniel Gafford who actually played well and deserved praise from that one. But he's going to be dealing with this for the rest of the season. I would be very surprised if Kyrie played in Thursday's game against Oklahoma City. The Mavs have a second night of a back-to-back. They play Minnesota on Wednesday, OKC Thursday. Would not be shocked to see Kyrie sit whatsoever. Jaden Hardy has an ankle sprain, so he's going to be out for some time. Derek Lively has an ankle sprain. Now, he was questionable for the game against Charlotte. Didn't end up playing. Maybe he'll be back for the next game. Dwight Powell has a hip strain, and Dante Exum is recovering from that wrist surgery. It sounds like Dante's inching closer to a return, but we don't know for sure when he's going to be back. It could be as far as after the All-Star break, as long as we know. And Kai and Lively are trying to play through it. They're trying to fight for the team and trying to, give as much as they can to the team. But we know that they're dealing with these injuries, and hopefully they can play as much as possible. Like I said, I don't expect Kyrie to play on Thursday against Oklahoma City on the second night of a back-to-back. But, man, what a tough loss from the Pelicans. You really had to have that one. And Gafford had his career high in points. He had the best game of his career. And for it to end in a loss is such a damn shame. But this game showed that you should not be trading Daniel Gafford whatsoever if you are Nico Harrison and the Dallas Mavericks. That's going to do it for today's show. It is youtube.com/MavsTV. Once again, hit that subscribe button. And if anything happens, we'll see you soon here on the channel. My name is Jeffrey Gooberstein. Peace out. And as always, let's go Mavs.